You ever caught yourself staring at your aquarium wondering if your plants were really vibing with your lighting setup? Or maybe you thought to yourself you're using too much? Well, if you've asked yourself these questions, you're not alone. Today we're going to dive into the luminous world of aquarium lighting to break down everything you need to know about finding the perfect glow for your tank. Let's light it up! Color temperature is the heartbeat of your aquarium's visual impact. It's not just about aesthetics, it directly influences the health of your aquatic life. Measured in kelvins, color temperature sets the tone of your lighting, ranging from warm reds and yellows to cool blues of an early ocean morning. Warm light in the ranges of 2500 to 4500 Kelvin bring out the rich reds, oranges, and golds in fish like bettas and discus. This type of lighting enhances their natural vibrancy, almost making them glow from within. Daylight between 5500 and 6500 Kelvin mimics natural sunlight, making it the sweet spot for freshwater plants, boosting photosynthesis and promoting healthy growth. Finally, cool light from 7000 to 10,000 Kelvin mirrors the deeper blues of the ocean, providing an ideal environment for your marine tanks. For coral reefs, this cooler light is essential for replicating the sunlight that they naturally receive in their native habitats. PAR is the unsung hero of aquarium lighting. Often it gets overlooked by hobbyists, but it's an absolute essential for plant health. PAR, or photosynthetically active radiation, measures the wavelengths of light that plant can actually use for photosynthesis, typically within the 400 to 700 nanometer range. This spectrum includes everything from blue to red light, both crucial for plant growth. Specifically, we look at something called photosynthetic photon flux density, or PPFD, measured in this thing called micromoles, often just referred to as PAR among aquarists. Think of it as the nutritional value of your lighting. Just like you wouldn't feed your fish junk food and expect them to thrive, plants need the right kind of light to stay healthy and grow strong. For plants like Java ferns or cryptocorynes, which naturally thrive in shaded conditions, low PAR levels are more than enough to meet their energy needs. On the other hand, for more demanding species, like Monte Carlo or carpeting plants, higher PAR levels are essential to fuel their growth and keep them looking vibrant. To make sure you're on track, I'll share a plant list from the BAR report that shows the ideal PAR ranges for popular plants. Go ahead and use that as your handy reference when determining the right lighting for your tank. To measure your PAR, you'll need a PAR or lux meter, with lux measurements needing to be converted to PAR. Some lighting manufacturers also provide PAR data, allowing you to estimate your levels at different tank depths, which can be a helpful guide. But here's where it gets even more critical. PAR isn't just important for plant health, it's also crucial for algae control. When lighting produces excessive PAR without being balanced by CO2 and nutrients, it creates the perfect storm for algae blooms to start taking over your tank. While PAR tells you how much light is available, PER dives deeper, measuring how much of that light is actually usable by plants or corals. Not all light that reaches your tank is absorbed. Some is reflected or scattered, reducing its effectiveness. PER quantifies the efficiency of light usage, ensuring your plants aren't just basking in brightness but actually thriving. For instance, plants like Anubias or Bucephalandra, which naturally grow in shaded areas, excel in utilizing lower light efficiently. Their PER is optimized for these conditions, meaning they don't require intense lighting to flourish. Conversely, highlight plants demand not only more PAR but a higher PER to ensure the light provided translates into growth. PER is particularly vital in deeper tanks where light intensity diminishes as it penetrates water. Now, typically, the higher your PER to PAR rating, the better your light is or more efficient your light is. At most, I would say expect no more than about 50% of the amount of light being put out as actually being usable. And very often, plants will typically only use depending on the species. Let's dive into the concept of lumens. In simplest terms, lumens are a measure of how bright a light is. To put it in perspective, a single candle gives off around 13 lumens. Sounds pretty modest, right? But here's the trick. Whenever you see a bulb described as having a certain number of candle lights, just multiply that by 13 to gauge how much light is actually being produced. Now let's take a common household item to compare. A standard 100-watt light bulb. That bulb is going to give you about 1200 lumens. So, using that as a benchmark, you can get a rough idea of the brightness of different aquarium lighting based on their own lumen ratings. In the world of aquarium lighting, most options will range from a few hundred lumens to several thousand. For example, the Fluval 3.0 aquarium lights typically deliver between 3,000 to 4,500 lumens depending on the model size. Larger setups tend to pack more punch in terms of brightness. But then, if you really want to crank it up, consider the UNS Titan, which delivers a massive 21,000 lumens, about 20 times brighter than a standard 100-watt light bulb. That's a serious amount of light. But here's the thing, just because a light has high lumen output doesn't mean it's necessarily perfect for your tank. Lumen value is a useful indicator of brightness, but it's not the only factor to consider when it comes to plant health. To make sure your plants thrive, you've got to factor in things like light spectrum and intensity. So, while lumens give you a snapshot of how bright a light is, they're not the be-all end-all when choosing the best lighting for your aquarium. In the world of aquarium lighting, there's no shortage of advice floating around in forums, social media groups, and even well-meaning YouTube videos. Some of it's solid, but let's be real, most of it's overdue for retirement. The myths about aquarium lighting are as persistent as they are frustrating, often leading to wasted time, money, and tanks overrun with algae. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in an endless game of trial and error, trying to get that perfect glow up for your tank, you're not alone. Let's clear up some of the most stubborn misconceptions so you can stop spinning your wheels and get your aquarium the lighting that it deserves. If you've ever ventured into the vast world of online aquarium advice, you've probably encountered someone swearing by the watts per gallon rule. Once a go-to metric for determining how much light your tank needed, it's time we retired this outdated relic. Think of this myth like the MySpace of aquarium lighting. Once popular, but long past its prime. Modern LED lights have completely reshaped the game, rendering watts per gallon completely irrelevant. LEDs are ridiculously efficient at converting energy into light, so a 20-watt LED can easily outshine a 40-watt fluorescent bulb. That means the wattage to gallon ratio, not so useful anymore. So what should you focus on instead? The real game changer, quality of light. Specifically, PAR, or that photosynthetically active radiation we talked about earlier, and spectrum are what you should prioritize to ensure that your plants and fish are thriving. These two factors are the true MVPs of your aquarium lighting setup. Let's talk about the brighter's better myth. Imagine blasting your aquarium with enough light to rival a concert stage, thinking you're doing your plants a favor. The reality? You're giving algae a VIP pass to take over your tank. Overpowering your aquarium with excessive brightness disrupts the balance of its ecosystem. Plants can only use light effectively when paired with adequate CO2 and nutrients. Without this balance, the extra light becomes wasted energy, often fueling algae growth. This is especially true in tanks without CO2 injection, where plants hit their photosynthesis cap, but the algae keeps on partying. The key here? Moderation. Think of your tank's lighting as curating a playlist. You need just the right balance to hit the sweet spot without overloading the vibe. Providing enough light for your plants to grow without overwhelming them and without inviting the algae rave is how you maintain a healthy, glowing aquarium. Every aquarium is its own tiny universe, with unique lighting needs that depend on the plants, fish, and overall aesthetic you want to achieve. Choosing the right lighting is about understanding these needs and tailoring your setup to meet them. Whether you're setting up a low-maintenance beginner tank, a mid-level aquascape, or a high-tech planted showpiece, the right lighting ensures your aquarium doesn't just survive, but thrives. Let's explore what each type of setup requires to truly shine. Low-light aquariums are the chill vibe of the aquarium world. They're perfect for beginners or anyone who wants a stunning tank without too much fuss. These setups often feature hardy plants like Java Fern, Cryptocoryne, and Anubias. These plants have adapted to thrive in shaded areas so they don't need high-intensity lighting to grow. The fish in these tanks often reflect the same low-key energy. Betta fish, tetras, and gourami are all stars in these setups, their colors glowing softly under a warm light. A lighting setup in the 3000 to 5000 Kelvin range works wonders here, enhancing the natural tones of both plants and fish while creating a cozy, inviting aesthetic. Low PAR levels are all you need for this kind of tank, making it accessible and stress-free to maintain. It's the aquarium equivalent of a low-maintenance skincare routine that gets you glowing. Rock it, baby. Medium light aquariums are where things get a little more adventurous. These tanks strike a balance between looking amazing and requiring just enough effort to keep it interesting. Plants like Amazon sword, dwarf Sagittaria, and Bucephalandra thrive in these conditions, growing lush and vibrant under moderate lighting. For fish, you've got options that bring movement and color like guppies, rasboras, and mollies. A daylight spectrum in the 5500 to 6500 Kelvin range is ideal for these tanks, providing just the right amount of light for plants to photosynthesize efficiently. Modern PAR levels ensure your plants grow healthy while keeping algae in check. Medium light setups are like leveling up in a video game, more challenging than the starter pack, but incredibly rewarding to see your tank come to life with greenery and activity. Alright, let's talk highlight aquariums. If you're looking to take your tank to the next level with vibrant reds, lush carpeting plants, and those stunning aquatic plants that need serious light to thrive, high intensity lighting is where it's at. This is where a light unit like the UNS Titan really shines. We're talking about a beast of a light with 21,000 lumens that can light up a tank like it's the 4th of July. Perfect for aquascapers who want that ultra vibrant, high energy environment. Now, for those of you growing plants like Monte Carlo, Glosso, or those red leafed beauties like Alternanthera, you're gonna need more than just a bright light. What you really need is the right amount of PAR, or photosynthetically active radiation, to fuel photosynthesis. For a highlight tank, a PAR level above 120 is what you want, and the UNS Titan's output is well suited to provide that intensity across your tank. Let's break it down further. PAR is the real MVP here. While lumens tell you how bright the light is, PAR tells you how effectively that light is going to be used by your plants for growth. In a highlight setup, you're going to want to ensure that your plants get enough light intensity to stimulate robust growth without overloading them, which can lead to algae blooms if not properly balanced with nutrients and CO2. As for color temperature, the Kelvin rating plays a huge role in achieving that perfect balance. Highlight tanks with red and carpeting plants thrive best under a color temperature in the 6,500 to 8,000 Kelvin range. This mimics natural daylight and ensures plants get the right spectrum of light to boost photosynthesis, keeping the colors vibrant and the growth lush. With the UNS Titan, you'll get a light that hits the sweet spot, bright enough to fuel all those plants, but still natural enough to bring out the best in your aquascape. So, if you're diving into highlight planted tanks, the key is combining the right PAR intensity and Kelvin temperature. I've seen others use old school T5s that work too well if you get the balance right. Either way, giving your red plants and carpeters exactly what they need to thrive will give your tank that wow factor that'll have everyone stopping to take a second look. Selecting the right lighting for your aquarium isn't just about function, it's about setting the vibe. Imagine your aquarium as a living art installation, where light brings everything to life, from the plants that photosynthesize to the way your fish's color pops under the glow. It's not about spending a fortune or overcomplicating things. With a solid understanding of your tank's unique needs, you can tailor your lighting to create a thriving, balanced ecosystem that also looks fantastic. Whether you're building an aquatic jungle or designing a sleek modern display, or maybe you're just giving your betta a cozy chill spot, lighting is key to bringing your vision to life. Let's dive deeper into what really matters when it comes to aquarium lighting. When setting up your aquarium, one of the most overlooked factors is tank depth. Light doesn't travel through water with the same intensity that it does through air. The deeper the tank, the weaker the light becomes as it gets absorbed and diffused by the water. It's basic physics, but for aquariums, it's a major factor in plant health and growth. In shallow tanks 18 inches and under, light doesn't have to travel far to reach the plants, so you can get away with less powerful lighting. This works perfectly for tanks where low light plants such as java ferns or cryptocorynes dominate the scene. But for deep tanks, those gorgeous vertical ones that make your room look like an aquarium showroom, stronger lights are a must. If your plants at the bottom aren't thriving, it's probably because the light can't penetrate that far. To counter this, you'll need a lighting fixture with a higher PAR value to ensure that even your tank's bottom dwellers are getting their fair share of energy. Tank depth's not a challenge, it's an opportunity to plan lighting strategically, ensuring every inch of your underwater kingdom thrives. You don't need to rob a bank to make your aquarium glow. There are plenty of affordable lighting options out there that deliver solid results without you having to sacrifice your snack fund. Lights like the Phoenix Stingray and the Chihiro's WRGB with the light settings down are low-cost champions in the medium light category. They're efficient, durable, and provide enough PAR to keep most plants happy. These options are perfect for beginner tanks or hobbyists who are more into chill setups than Instagram-worthy aquascapes. With these lights, you can grow hardy plants such as Anubias, Java Moss, and Amazon Swords without breaking a sweat or your budget. They're proof that you don't need to splurge on a premium setup to create an aquarium that's not only functional but also looks amazing. Budget-friendly lighting's a win-win. Your wallet stays full and your tank stays lit. Like literally lit. For those who want a tank to serve as the centerpiece of a room or maybe even their entire personality, premium lighting's the way to go. Think high-tech, customizable, and powerful. Lights like the Kessel series and the UNS Titan are top-tier options that cater to aquarists ready to go big or go home. These lights aren't just about intensity, they provide incredible spectrum control, allowing you to fine-tune the colors and wavelengths to match the exact needs of your tank. This level of precision is critical for high-light plants and CO2-injected setups, where every detail matters. Monte Carlo, red stem species, and lush carpeting plants thrive under these powerful lights. While they are an investment, premium lights elevate your aquarium into a masterpiece. They're not just lighting fixtures, they're a gateway to creating the kind of aquascape that stops people mid-scroll on their feed, wondering if they stumbled upon an underwater art exhibit. Listen, if plants aren't your thing or you're just focusing on a fish-only tank, your lighting priorities shift to aesthetics. This is where you get to play with tone and mood, creating an environment that showcases your fish's natural colors and personality. Warmer tones with a Kelvin range of around 3000 to 4500 K enhance the reds, oranges, and yellows in fish such as bettas and guppies, giving them a radiant, almost fiery glow. Cooler tones, on the other hand, bring out the sleek blues and silvers in species such as tetras and rainbow fish, creating an aquarium that feels modern and dynamic. Since you're not catering to plants, you have a little more freedom to focus purely on visual impact. The right lighting turns a fish-only tank into a mesmerizing display, where each fish becomes a living jewel, sparkling and darting through the water. This approach is about celebrating the vibrancy of your fish, making your tank an aquatic mood board. While theory is important, seeing how it all comes together in real-life setups is where the magic truly happens. Aquarium lighting isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, it's all about a tailored approach that considers your goals, tank's inhabitants, and the vibe you're aiming to create. So let's take a look at a few common setups and how the right lighting transforms them into stunning, thriving aquatic environments. Picture this, a serene betta tank with the gentle ripples of water dance under warm, soft lighting. The tank's planted with java ferns and anubias, their leaves swaying peacefully as the betta glides through the water. This low light setup doesn't aim to dazzle, it aims to soothe. The lighting here is set to a Kelvin range of 3000 to 5000 Kelvin, providing just enough illumination to support slow-growing plants while creating a cozy, natural ambiance. The betta's vibrant reds and blues stand out against the muted greens of the plants, making the entire tank feel like a tiny self-contained slice of tranquility. Low lighting setups are perfect for those who want a low-maintenance tank that exudes calm and simplicity. Low-light plants like the anubias or even floating plants work great here. Now, imagine a bustling community tank filled with schools of mollies and rasboras darting around lush Amazon swords and bucephalandra. The lighting comes from a Fluval 3.0, carefully tuned to a daylight spectrum of 5500 to 6500 K. This setup's all about balance, enough light to keep the plants thriving without overshadowing the fish. The result is a vibrant, lively environment where every element complements the other. The moderate par values support healthy plant growth, while the fish add dynamic movement and flashes of color. This tank is like a curated Instagram feed, visually stunning, full of energy, and totally goals. Medium light setups are the sweet spot for aquarists who want to elevate their game without diving into the complexities of high-tech systems. And that brings us to highlight tanks. This is where you go all in. Imagine a meticulously crafted aquascape where red stem plants and dense Monte Carlo carpet create a vibrant underwater garden. Discus fish glide gracefully through this high-tech setup, their colors shimmering under the intense lighting of a UNS Titan. The lights tuned for high par values paired with CO2 injection to fuel rapid plant growth and maintain the tank's vibrancy. This is the aquarium equivalent of a blockbuster film. Every detail is carefully considered, every element working together to create something truly spectacular. Highlight setups are demanding, but the payoff is an awe-inspiring tank that feels alive and dynamic, capturing the imagination of anyone who sees it. Even with the perfect lighting setup, challenges are inevitable. Algae growth, dim lighting, and depth-related issues are all part of the game. The key is to understand these challenges and address them proactively, ensuring your tank remains a balanced, thriving ecosystem. Now, algae is the uninvited guest at every aquarium lighting party. It thrives when there's an imbalance, too much light, too little CO2, or a lack of nutrients. If you're battling algae, it's time to recalibrate. Start by reducing light intensity or duration, ensuring your tank has adequate CO2 and the nutrients to support plant growth. That way your plants outcompete the algae. A balanced ecosystem is your best defense against these green invaders. Think of it like fine-tuning an instrument. When everything's in harmony, algae just doesn't stand a chance. Dim lighting can leave your plants struggling and your tank looking lifeless. If your plants show signs of slow growth or pale leaves, it's likely that they're not getting enough light. Check the lumen output of your lighting fixture and consider upgrading if necessary. Adding supplemental lights or using a more powerful fixture can breathe life into your aquarium, ensuring your plants grow lush and your tank remains vibrant. In deeper tanks, light intensity diminishes before it reaches the substrate, leaving bottom-dwelling plants in the dark. To address this, choose lighting fixtures designed for deep penetration, or add multiple light sources to cover all areas of the tank. Borrow a par meter from a hobbyist friend or aquarium club if you want to do a detailed check. Aquarium lighting can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but answering some common questions can help demystify the process. Let's tackle a few key concerns to set you up for success. The best color temperature depends on your tank's inhabitants. For planted tanks, a daylight spectrum of 55 to 6500 Kelvin supports photosynthesis while creating a natural look. For fish-only tanks, warmer tones enhance the reds and yellows in fish, while cooler tones highlights blues and silvers. Tailoring the color temperature to your tank's specific needs ensure that it looks stunning while maintaining a healthy environment. Highlight plants often demand CO2 to utilize the strong light for photosynthesis effectively. Without CO2, the plants can't keep up with the intense lighting, leading to stunted growth and algae blooms. Adding CO2 ensures that the light energy is fully utilized, supporting vibrant, healthy plant growth and maintaining balance in your tank. Observing your plants is the most reliable way to determine if your lighting's adequate. Healthy, vibrant plants with strong growth indicate good lighting conditions, while slow growth, yellowing, or wilting leaves suggests a need for adjustment. Measuring par at the substrate or observing how your plants respond can help you fine-tune your setup, ensuring that your tank is thriving. If this video gave you an aha moment, hit that thumbs up and drop your favorite lighting tips or questions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss more insights to keep your underwater world thriving. Or check out my aquarium plants tier list. It's a must watch. Until next time.